Collective, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at the weekly energy for the collective via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it. It's a new week. We're in Taurus season. Pluto just went into retrograde. It recently moved into Aquarius back in November, which it governs decade-long cycles. So it's going to be in Aquarius for the next 20 years-ish. And basically, it's setting the groundwork, it's setting the stage for us to align a little bit more better with the things that we actually want in our life, the things that actually make us feel happy and fulfilled, maybe the things that are a little bit off the beaten path or not the social norms, etc. And really finding ways to kind of align with those things, align with those values. Because of that, there's a lot of reshuffling that's going on. We've been seeing this in relationship dynamics. We've been talking about this a lot lately. There's been this cluster of planets in Pisces that's now starting to move into Aries. The fire element has enlivened, so it's giving us some action potential. Like we're starting to feel like ready to put our money where our mouth is, so to speak. But it's so important right now to listen to our intuition, listen to our instincts, especially around the things that do need change. It's not just pointing out everyone else's faults, unfortunately, very fun as that may be. It's also being honest with ourselves about things that we need to adjust and change, and make those choices accordingly. That's actually going to align us a lot better with what we're after, what we're pursuing, aligning with that abundance, however that fares out for you. That's why I like to start off with these energy cleansings, just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out any blocks, limitations we might be coming into. It's a great time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something that you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing, wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, that kind of vibe. Or if you're looking for more of a rebalancing of self, right? Aligning with your heart's desires, what you want, how you want to see that fulfillment manifest. I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we feel good, when we feel aligned in who we are, we know ourselves, we're making choices that like feel good and fit for our life. And that's the recipe, right? For fulfillment, for happiness, self-love, self-care, baby. So if you are interested in any of my services, all the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. I would love to help, support, love in whatever way possible. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love, Mama Love. Amen. All right, so Taurus season, it brings in earth energy, and thankfully this week we're actually seeing some of that element starting to enliven as well, which I do think is necessary right now. There's been a lot of fire. So like when people's situations are not getting what they want, people are just more prone to fighting, aggression, etc. And it's getting a little bit exhausting, right? It's getting a little bit exhausting because we're really just trying to find what works for us, how you want to invest in yourself, etc. And it makes it really hard when people are just very resistant to that. We're seeing that manifest a lot in relationship dynamics. And so, like I've been saying, it's giving us us an opportunity to change it up a little bit. Change it up maybe in a way that we weren't really planning or anticipating doing. So we have tuberose, which is dangerous pleasures. So I'm hearing this is like towing the line. The secret of reaping the greatest fruitfulness and the greatest enjoyment from life is to live dangerously. That was by Nietzsche. So there's this idea, right, of like, you know, we have to be willing to take a chance. We have to be, that's part of the value of what that fire principle is enlivening. Starting off the week, the moon is in Leo. So we're getting this extra pep in our step, right? Nobility, self-esteem, the magnolia. We're feeling good about ourselves as we enter into this week, which again is necessary because there have been a lot of different things that we've been combating along the way. And it's been tiring, as I've said, right? But it's also like you're ready for something new. You're ready for a kind of a break. A break in the fortune, break in the sail, break in the wind. I don't know, that maybe that sounds weird, but it's like you're just ready for something to give way and to see a little bit more momentum coming in. And honestly, it looks like it is. I feel like some of this is coming from that energy of being a little bit fed up this week, fed up with the monotony, things just the same thing over and over and over again, same habit pattern, dealing with someone, something, and it's just, you know, and that's the downside, right? Forget-me-nots is in our blocked energy this week. So how to move on from the past, how to move on from the things that you can no longer control, right? The things that do become eternal memories. The best things in life are the people you've loved, the places you've seen, and the memories you've made along the way, which there is so much beauty in that. But right now it kind of is clouding, overshadowing where we are trying to move things forward, i.e. not clinging on to people, places, and things for too long. So as much as there is this level of empowerment at the beginning of the week, there's also a lot of pain that comes with the change that is happening. The moon is tensely aspected to Uranus as well as the fortune point. So maybe just feeling like a little bit off or not accepted, you know, like Aquarian energy, Uranus energy, it can definitely be an outcast or someone who doesn't feel like they belong, or maybe you've been rejected lately, or like you keep coming up, what I'm seeing is like you keep coming up short, i.e. why you want that break. There's this part of you that you continue to kind of like do what you're supposed to do, put yourself out there in the right way, etc. And it still's not garnering the results that you want it to, right? But that's kind of where Spirit is saying to take a step back. We've kind of been getting this message a little bit lately between last week and this week. Like, be proud of your accomplishments. Try not to wallow too long in the misery of what has happened. Definitely give yourself an opportunity to grieve. I'm a huge proponent of that, but don't let it block you. Don't let it limit you, which the Eight of Swords is all about, right? Eight of Swords is about the mental blocks that we put up that we can totally free ourselves from. And that's exactly what this Tulsi is all about. Tulsi is incredibly sattvic in Ayurveda, meaning pure. It's essentially like very spiritual. It's very balancing for the mind, the body, the soul. It has a lot of spiritual symbolism as well to it. It's actually very lucky. It's good to have around the house if you want to make some money, honey. But it's also like, I'm hearing for you, beginning of the week, it's remembering your power, right? Remembering your power. And I feel like this is kind of all going hand in hand with you taking some risks this week, taking some risks, maybe putting yourself out there in a new way, doing something that you've been a little bit hesitant or afraid to do, or even this value of where the pain, the sadness, the disappointment has clouded you from doing stuff, right? It has been hard to like maybe wash away some of those memories, and maybe that's not necessarily what we want to do, right? Like, I mean, everyone's situation is going to be different. The harder, more toxic dynamics it's nice to, you know, not have those memories, but sometimes we're using those memories as a tool to long for. And that's where that Pluto is tensely aspected to Black Moon Lilith. She's essentially kind of like using that as a mechanism to pull at our heartstrings, to still be interested, to still be curious, because there is some past karmas popping up. We've been seeing this a little bit more in the collective readings lately, specifically the shorts, where there are people that are coming around the corner to work with you. But I feel like you have to be working with yourself first, if that makes sense. So part of this empowerment this week is not only like, you know, honoring, validating your success, saying what you're good at, but then also like standing in that power, right? And not really letting like certain people and dynamics throw you off course, like we're seeing with that Black Moon Lilith and Pluto tensely aspected. Beginning of the week, it feels like you're a little bit more of a lone ranger, like you know, beginning of the week, we're starting off the Mondays, etc. Not the most fun to get back into the work week, but at the same time, I feel like there's this level, as much as maybe the day in, day out might feel a little bit monotonous, I'm hearing there's some level of comfort. There's some level of peace of just your daily activity, and finding, again, really connecting with your self-esteem in that place, what you do well, how you feel strong, how you feel secure. Because as we're like moving towards the end of the week, there's a lot of beauty that's playing out here. And it does feel like, again, it comes from this element of you flipping the script a little bit, whether it is as simple as changing your perspective, changing the way you're seeing something. Yeah, it might be disappointing, it might suck, but at the same time, maybe it's the thing that's bringing you freedom, right? Freedom from the mental blocks, anxiety, fears, etc. And as a result, you're finding or you're connecting with things that are a little bit more beautiful, a little bit more happy as we hit midweek. There's a lot of tension in the air. There's a lot of tension in the air, but because of how you are shifting your perspective, because of the things that are starting to click, the pieces of the puzzle that are starting to fit together, that makes sense. You're coming in as very grounded, stable, Mother of Earth. I love this. It's like an offering. And I'm hearing like, regardless what you think, what you feel, what religion you practice, your spirituality, etc., you just feel very aligned with self, even though there still is kind of a lot going on. And you're not certain. You're almost not certain. But a thing of beauty is a joy forever. I love that quote by John Keats. This remembrance that it is so much about perspective, you know, and not to oversimplify, not to sit here and say it makes all the bad things go away, especially if you are dealing with a lot of toxic people or situations, because there is heaviness and there is resistance. And we're seeing this kind of heighten as we hit midweek. As I'm saying this, the Three of Cups, so friends, community come into focus, people coming in to kind of see where you're at. I'm hearing like test the waters. That's why it's super important, super good that you're in this space of feeling like really strong and grounded in yourself. Because I think that there are going to be some decisions that you have to make that maybe do feel a little bit dangerous, especially around like people that you might be saying no to. I'm hearing specifically like, you choosing a different path or thinking a different thing and putting voice to that and being at peace and okay with that. And some people are not really liking it, right? There's almost this energy of like, well, why aren't you keeping it nice and pretty for us? You know, but you're just, I think your interests are elsewhere is what I'm hearing. Maybe you're not spending a lot of time with people this week, or more specifically at the beginning, throughout the beginning midweek, because again, like I was saying earlier, you kind of have this Lone Ranger energy because of what you're kind of building in your own environment. I think people just don't understand it. It's not even about what you're building, but it's just like you have stuff going on that like just some people cannot be a part of is how I'm seeing it. And maybe there is this level of offense. I don't know. Let me clarify this real quick. Because someone does feel a little bit offended. Yeah, my ears are ringing. Yeah, there's like this little fiery energy. Let's see. Okay, ooh, the Empress. Because, you know, I don't know, like, I think some people are just getting hurt. I think some people are maybe not understanding why you're choosing what you're choosing and what you're doing, because there's definitely some resistance around you. But like I said, I'm not sure that you're even paying attention to it. Like, you might not like it, but you're taking a chance on yourself. You're taking a chance on yourself in a way that is helping you to evolve from whatever this is, whatever this past experience is that almost feels like burned or ingrained in your mind, or it's just something that you're like really trying to work out of. You know, we are in this time of cycle shift and change. Everyone is at kind of a different, you know, rate, I guess I should say. Like, for everyone it's a little bit different, but collectively there's so much change going on right now. So but like I said, it's opening the door for new connections to come in, because the end of the week, it evens out a little bit. All this frustration, this tension, what I'm seeing you as like removing yourself from, it's garnering these really beautiful results. We see the fire element come way down, so and the earth element rise. So more grounding, more stability. There's a little bit more rationality and not so much tension and frustration. Yeah, I mean, again, maybe not. I just feel like you're putting your focus on different things. 100%. Ace of Earth. Nettle is such a healing medicinal herb. It is awesome for kind of like bringing in new sense of stability, right? Like really kind of connecting with this principle of the divine feminine, where you are trusting, relying, listening to your instincts. That is where we're seeing the most success, because ironically or not, like in the astrology, it's not super crazy, and the most impactful transits are all actually like really positive. But it's about how we're seeing things. It's about how we're looking at situations, and it really looks like you have a handle on what that is for you. Again, might be rubbing some people the wrong way, but I don't really feel like that's anything new under the sun, because you're taking your time. I see like a slower energy this week. I see, as much as maybe some people, some situations are kind of popping off, you are continually taking a step back. You know, you're really weighing out the pros and cons of where you're putting your investments. And it's kind of funny, like in a lot of ways, because the overarching theme is this dangerous pleasures. But I'm almost hearing it as like the way that you are investing in yourself, right? That's kind of where that like uniqueness or individuality comes from, because most people want to be on the up and up, right? They want the friends around, they want the validation, they want the affirmation, etc. And you're really looking at getting that from yourself. We saw that with the Hermit, right? You're not necessarily relying so much on other people, other situations that you did in the past. And, you know, I think you're content to wait. I feel your energy is peaceful this week. I'm going to clarify this dangerous pleasure before we close it out. Yeah, you feel peaceful. Like you're cultivating options for yourself by removing the unnecessary chaos, by removing the stuff that's like been there, done that. I don't want to go down this road again. Feelings of just like a little bit of like, okay, you know, it's almost just like an annoyance is what I'm hearing. What came up? Okay. Yes, 100%. Like it's just people that are giving kind of these half-hearted attempts and disguising them as something other than that, you know, and how it's kind of poured into your life, the maybe some of the difficulty that it's brought, constantly waiting, and now you're actually taking charge into your own hands, which I really do love that for you. All right, let's close it out with a few oracles. Feels a little bit better, at least this week. Maybe it's not going to be so crazy. I mean, like I said, we do have a lot of that fire element beginning of the week, but that's kind of where like spirit's like testing you, challenging you. Vitality. I love this, the stag. I was going to say as to how far you've come, right? Like really seeing like your strength and your power. The stag is about vitality. With stag as our guide, we are we are offered leave to nourish and cultivate our life's work. 100%. I love that. That was like the most simplest and beautiful embodiment of what this reading is all about, right? It is that investment in self. It is pouring into things that we want to see manifest and evolve in our life. And not everyone is going to understand that. But Seahorse brings with it contentment. Seahorse is present. He encourages us to consider the friction in our lives, reminding us to reflect upon our perspectives with objectivity. In neutrality, opportunities manifest that might otherwise remain hidden. 100%. And that's exactly what you're doing this week, right? Like, yeah, there are people, like maybe midweekish, or maybe you're going to get a little bit of backlash. Well, why are you doing this? Why aren't you answering me back? Why aren't you blah, blah, blah? But this is all about, cardinal authenticity. He teaches us to embrace our uniqueness and discover the power of our authenticity. So beautiful, right? You are really doing this practice for yourself, and it is bringing about beauty with it, right? Beauty, happiness, friendship, people that are a little bit more in alignment, or new opportunities that are a little bit more alignment with what you're trying to draw in. It's hard because, there still is past energies lingering around us, but at the same time, I'm really encouraged to see just like how much forward momentum is manifesting. It definitely feels like there's a little bit more push that way where there's been a lot of stagnancy to date. So thank goodness, right? Thank you so much for your time, energy always. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I'd love to hear, or just hear how it resonated, if it vibed with you, or just say, hey, share it in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support that you bring to the channel. No, I'm sending it back your way.